this could potentially be the last Janterm video I ever make. It's at least the last video I make as a daily recap. The next video that I make for Janterm, if I make one at all, will be like a recap of what I did in general and total for my final project. But we'll see if I end up doing that. This is for Janterm Day 8, so enjoy. So when I first got to Mr. Cayman's house, basically he was in a meeting, so I just took it upon myself to go over some of the homework that I had the night before, as well as study for my pilot's license. I went through my private pilot book and went over airspace because I was meeting with an air traffic controller the next day, so that way, you know, I was up to date on all the lingo and know all of my cloud clearances pilot stuff. And then also the night before, I had taken home a fleet analysis from Bowen, so I went over that and I just kind of read into, it was more of like a presentation on how to sell aircraft and a lot of the like math and statistics and math that goes into it, and the best way to pitch your product and sell it and present yourself, as well as to kind of play into your customer's rhetoric. So the cool thing is, I have not sent these pictures to Miss Vance yet, but I need to show them to her because I've never really seen like math that we've done in real life scenarios before, but I saw logs in some of the things. So I guess they're logarithms, right? I guess they're called logarithms for sure. But I thought that was really cool. I was flipping through and it was like log and then the rest, and there were some equations that we've worked with before. And then I went through those, the fleet analysis, as well as a couple other books, and just took any notes and listed any questions that I could possibly, you know, come up with. And then after that, I talked to Mr. Cammons and went over that with him, got some of my questions answered. If you're curious and you just saw one of the questions being, what is a STOL, airliner or aircraft? Here's the answer. It stands for short takeoff and landing airplane. So, for example, one of the planes that I was looking at was a Dornier, like Dornier 228 or something. It just means that it's equipped to be able to have short takeoffs and short landings. So if you had mountain peaks right here, on the side of the runway and on this side of the runway, then the airplane could come in safely and land. And if it needed to take off, it could clear the peaks both times, which is really cool and interesting and very useful because there are airports that are built like that. So my favorite part of the day is when Fly comes to see me. So the entire time that I was doing this, sweet little Fly girl came and sat by my legs, and I got to pet her and, you know, just like spend time with a cutie. Love her so much. I miss her. I really do miss her a lot. We just had such a special connection. Maybe it's because her name's Fly and she's a girl, so like Fly Girl, and then I was always called that growing up, so like, you know, like just a deep connection. So then after that, it was lunchtime. Got to have a good lunch with Danelle and Hannah. And then I started working again, but I was fortunate enough to be able to count watching the House of Representatives as work time. So, if you're looking back on this in the future, Piper, or anyone in general, what is going on in our country is totally crazy. On this day, House of Representatives were voting on impeaching Trump, and for the second time, and I got to watch that. We did that for a little bit, and got to watch them. You know, it's literally history unfolding. And then after that, Mr. Cammons had a sales call with a customer. I won't say which airline they particularly are, but it's one in Canada, and they're looking for Saab 2000s. And so they reached out to Jetstream Aviation, which is who Mr. Cammons works for, and are inquiring and actually purchasing airplanes as we speak, which is so awesome because I got to sit in and, you know, hear it. Which is another cool thing is, so there's a thing called passenger analysis, data analysis for passenger profit, how much it's going to cost in order to sustain each seat, how much the cost of each seat is, and obviously you want that number to be lower, so then you can, with that number, you figure out what you want to price your tickets at, and you get the point. So when they were talking about passenger analysis, I was able to understand what they were talking about. And then another thing is they were talking about just like the aspects of aviation and when it came to actually flying, and I was able to understand too. And if someone would have asked me, I would have been able to explain, because it was like stuff I would have known, like private pilot stuff, like, you know, basic components of the airplane, I guess you could say. So pretty awesome. After that, Mr. Cammons has a presentation that he needed to present to either a new client that were coming in It was like a introductory presentation as to why you should choose their company, and I don't know if it's going on their website exactly or if it's just client to client basis, but basically I got a printed out version of this presentation and I went through and marked different things that I found that could either be added or maybe moved around or whatever. So basically I just kind of critiqued it or whatnot, which here's the cool thing. They took my advice. There were like two things that there were like a million things that I did, but like two things that I like wrote down, and Mr. Kamens called one of his colleagues and inquired about it, and they actually fixed it, which I thought's really awesome because I helped in this process. Crazy times. Then after that, my day was over and I left the station like Elvis Presley. This has been my last Janterm entry of 2021. Dr. Clary, Dr. Robinson, thank you guys so much for allowing me this opportunity. Big thanks to Dr. Robinson for aligning this internship to me, because I could not have had it without her, and now I have exposure to aviation like no other. I didn't know it was possible. I didn't know there were so many careers out there for me, and I appreciate it, and I'm very grateful, and it's definitely been life-changing, without a doubt. And I look forward to next year, because it's only going to get better, guys. Janterm 2021, junior year, first ever internship, has been incredible. Incredible. Can't believe I'm this old. That's how I'm feeling. I can't believe I'm this old. I'm really, really grateful, and I hope that, and I can't express my gratitude enough for this opportunity, and I can't wait to see what next year holds for me.